DCF will disperse $5 million annually for 2 years in temporary assistance for needy families funding to the Kansas Housing Resources Corporation. The agency will work with the Kansas Statewide Homeless Coalition, United Way of the Plains, Metro Lutheran Ministry, and the city of Topeka to develop a comprehensive plan to help eligible families to obtain and maintain housing. United Way said it was receiving $2.2 million of that money, which will go to helping families with children in the state who are homeless or struggling with affording housing. The organization has helped 450 families already who were previously homeless with transitional housing.
Playing, it's just they make you play.
For stories, go to nwksradio.net.
Today will be windy and dry. We got a high fire danger. Highs will be in the upper 50s to around 60, and west winds will turn to the north 15 to 25, gusting to 35 miles per hour. Clouds throughout the day. The groundhog may not see a shadow this year. Tonight will be clear with winds turning to the west and diminishing at 5 to 10 miles per hour, lows around 25. Tomorrow will begin with sunshine, with clouds increasing later. Overnight, we can expect a chance for some light rain, freezing rain, or snow. Only around a few points of moisture, but it could get slick. Highs will be in the low 50s and lows in the middle 20s. Wednesday morning clouds, some lingering light snowflakes possible and clear in the afternoon, highs in the upper 40s and lows in the upper 20s. And then for the end of the week, a Rex block high pressure will build out west, splitting the jet flow and bringing sunny skies and temperatures climbing back into the mid-60s. This is meteorologist Chris Stromick and the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
Farmers, you insure your truck, your shop, and your crops. So why would you not insure your center pivot? Especially with diversified agrisurance from Western Sprinklers. Even if it's 34 years old, damaged, or destroyed, they'll insure it. Diversified agrisurance lets you insure your equipment, not just at its present value, but for its replacement costs. Contact Western Sprinklers in Colby with any questions about your current policy or to get your irrigation system covered today. At Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic, they believe in promoting healthier living through compassionate quality care. From state-of-the-art maternity care to life-saving emergency services, their dedicated team is there for you and your family. Whether it's managing diabetes, navigating recovery, or receiving specialized treatments, they're committed to your well-being. Discover the difference a community-focused hospital can make. Visit rayhospital.org today to learn more. Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic. Your health, our priority.
Kick off the new year in professional grade style with Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Douglas, Kansas. Right now, drive home a GMC Arcadia with 1.9% APR for well-qualified buyers, or choose a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 and get up to $7,000 in rebates with an eligible trade-in, or 0% APR for well-qualified buyers. Big capability, bold style, and New Year savings you don't want to miss. Start the year strong at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Shop online at hurlchev.com.
Kick off 2026 ready for whatever winter brings. At Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, they've got the gear to start the new year strong. Get organized with rugged storage totes. And when the snow starts falling, if it does, power through it with Ego and Craftsman snowblowers. Or if it's just the light stuff, blow it away with Ego leaf blowers. And don't forget ice melt to keep your sidewalk safe all season long. New year, winter ready. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Helpful folks, trusted brands, and everything you need to get it done. Looking for the perfect Valentine's night out? Traditions Restaurant in Goodland invites you to an unforgettable Valentine's dinner and dance Saturday, February 14th. Enjoy prime rib dinner starting at 7, including 2 sides, salad, dessert, and a glass of champagne. Then dance the night away with live music from Strings Attached at 8:30. Tickets are just $50 per person, or join the dance only for $10 at 8:30. Reserve your table now by calling 785-728-4600. That's 728-4600 at Traditions Restaurant in Goodland.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
If you want to win in football, it all starts up front. Mass kicks ass.
And Connor Schuh.
He's the new guy.
The High Plains only local sports talk show. Broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
They're basically idiots.
Covering it all from the preps.
Up ahead to Blair Lennon. Lennon the crossover back to Cure. Hello, boom! A two-handed tomahawk flush.
To the pros.
Shotgun snap to Nix. Protection is good. Bold loads it up. He's got it. A receiver there. Franklin makes the catch in the end zone. Touchdown, Denver.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, along with
Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, the Insurance Agency, Pestaway LLC, Topside Portables and Puffing, and the Farmer State Bank in Oakley.
Let's go to work. And a pass up top, and Bierman gets in front of that one, intercepts it away there from Frank. Bierman down the floor, left-handed layup, good, right before the buzzer sounds.
Now to Nate Johnson. He'll skip it inside, and the stuff. Great pass to Buka.
Peterson gets around his man, hangs. Oh, my! A right-hand hammer! He fires it home! A poster dunk on an electric day in Allen Fieldhouse. Wow.
Collett gets the bucket. No one stopped him. Puts it up in, and he's fouled. And one opportunity for Connor Collett coming here, and he has 9 early points.
Shot blocked. Loose on the floor. Coming up with it is Sanford. Sanford looks for the trailer. It's Frager. Frager, a dribble. The shot by Hoiberg. Got it. Holy smokes. Holy cow. Tied the game at 31.
Good Monday morning, everybody. We are back here on the Morning Blitz on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 KLOE, as well as, of course, NWKSradio.net and the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Appreciate you tuning in, no matter what way you're doing so here on this pretty nice Monday morning. Golly, I wish it was Friday. Fair and 33. The temperature outside at this point in time, a little blustery today with winds out of the north, so cool things down, but highs in the upper 50s. And really, if you look at the weather this week, we're going to be experiencing those spring-like temperatures in the 50s and 60s all throughout this coming week. So get prepared. I don't think the wintry weather is going to be playing much of a factor here this week, at least, as we turn I flip the calendar. It is into February. Welcome to February.
Yes, indeed.
It doesn't feel like February outside at times, but welcome to February.
Feels like May.
I was working in my backyard yesterday a little bit, because the weather was nice enough. Might as well just start doing some things.
Yeah, you might as well. I'm wearing shorts right now.
Really? Got on the short pants, huh?
The 33 outside in the morning after so many 10 to 0 degree mornings feels like very warm.
Are you one of those guys that would just prefer to wear shorts every day if you possibly could?
Sometimes I am. It kind of depends. I mean, it was a lot easier in college, but I don't know, it's a comfortability thing. I've got more shorts than pants too, so it's just natural.
I had a buddy in college, and all he wore, and of course, we went to Northwest Missouri State, where it snows quite a bit more. All he would ever wear to school, to classes, was flip-flops. That was his shoe of choice. He wore flip-flops every day.
I've definitely worn slides in the snow many times before, so I can't laugh too hard.
But he didn't have socks with his. It was barefoot flip-flops. That's what he wore all the time.
That's insane.
I
don't understand that.
He was big. He was a big guy. He was a big guy. He looked kind of like an offensive tackle. Didn't play offensive tackle, but he was a big guy. And then also on top of that, he was a big lifeguard guy. He was big at the lifeguard at his pool where he was from growing up. And so he always had great, he always had like a great tan. His feet were always tan because he always never wore socks or shoes.
You don't see that often. Tan feet.
Yeah, especially in the wintertime. Shout out to DT. Yeah, he's not listening to the program. I guarantee it. But it was interesting to see him wear flip-flops every single day to classes growing up. But hope everyone had a great weekend. It was it was a nice weekend overall, depending on what you were up to. I mean, but a busy weekend for some of us as well. But lots to get to are on today's program. Nick Athen will stop by the program. We didn't get him last week because we didn't have a show, unfortunately, due to some illness. But he will join us and help us preview Super Bowl 60 coming up, get his thoughts on that. We'll maybe also touch a little bit on the NFL. All the NFL head coaching positions are filled. We're going to have some fun with that a little bit later on this week with the segment on that. So we got plenty to get to here on today's program. As always, the F&B Bank text line is open at 785-899-2222 if you would like to be a part of the Morning Blitz. We will take your thoughts, your comments, all that kind of stuff coming up, including your very own weekend winners as well as losers.
There are two kinds of people in this world.
There's winners and there's losers.
Which ones were which this past weekend?
I want winners. Loser! You're a loser!
It's the weekend's winners and losers on the Morning Blitz.
You want to be a winner, be a winner.
All right, Connor Schuh, what do you have for your first winner of the weekend?
I'm going to lead off with something I typically don't watch, but Sunday morning or late Sunday morning, early afternoon, there's not a lot to
I was
pick
still in
from.
bed.
Hey, fair enough.
No,
but
were you? I was saying that was you. Are you still in bed at that time?
Oh no.
Oh,
No,
okay. All right.
I was not, but I typically try to get up by at least like if I'm not out of bed by 10:30, I'm pretty disappointed. I will say
10:30.
that.
Okay. All
That's
right.
late.
What was the rise time on this Sunday?
I
Just for
think
fun.
that time exactly.
Okay, 10:30 on Sunday. He gets up. All right, gotcha. Now we
Yes.
know what time of day we're in.
So I got up and I turned on the television after I got some breakfast and got everything organized. And I realized Ohio State was wrestling against Michigan on Big Ten Network. So I give it a watch. And Ohio State, as many who follow wrestling, college wrestling, I don't think that's many people, I'll be
Number
honest.
2 in the nation, I think, right?
But yes, up there. They dominated Michigan and won 26-16 and stay undefeated on the season, 16-0, 5-0 in conference. And watching that, it felt like I was there in the Covelli Center on Ohio State's campus. That place was packed to the gills, and I've been in there when it's packed, and it gets so loud. It's only like a 2,500 capacity stadium. It's used for wrestling, gymnastics, and volleyball, and there's pretty diehard wrestling fans down there. And I mean, it was just dominance. Almost every Ohio State wrestler handled business except for the heavyweight guy, Nick Feldman, who's typically our best wrestler, but he didn't get the win, unfortunately. But every other Ohio State wrestler won their match. Ben DeVino, Jesse Mendez, Patty Gallagher, Carson Sharklet, and Luke Giog. So shout out to Ohio State wrestling. Big meet, and now they're gonna face off against number 4 Iowa on Friday. So they got another big one up ahead.
Yeah, wrestling in the Big Ten is humongous. Whether it be, of course, Iowa, Penn State, of course, is the cream of the crop. But Ohio State, I think, this year has risen. They were expected to have a decent year, but I think being up number 2 or 3 in the country. Nebraska had a great year last year. They kind of took a step back this year. But yeah, there's really great wrestling. I'm fascinated for that Ohio State and Penn State matchup.
That's going to be fun.
Be a really, really good one coming up here somewhere down the line in college wrestling. But yeah, wrestling fans, growing up, I did not watch or partake in a lot of wrestling. I was more into a basketball family and more. I mean, not that my school didn't offer wrestling, but the sad part is there were probably like 4 guys out for wrestling, and we didn't have girls wrestling at the time.
It's kind of how our school was.
So there wasn't a whole lot of wrestling, but you come out here to Western Kansas and it is very, very popular. And so you learn about the passion that people have for this, for wrestling and for the sport. And so, yeah, it's interesting. And now that I've been out here long enough, I understand wrestling a little bit more. Still not on a level I probably need to.
The scoring is really tough to follow. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I get that. I understand that.
At least for someone new to it.
No, I'm with you 100%. The scoring is hard to follow at times. I understand that. Totally get it. My favorite thing, though, about this, I've told this about people, my favorite thing is when, they get the 2 points and the crowd just stands up and yells 2. I mean, they just yell 2.
That's great.
I just love it. I love that. Makes me laugh whenever they pull that off. So, yeah, interesting. Kicking it off with some collegiate wrestling here on Weekend Winners and Losers. I'm going to get to my first winner of the week, and I'm going Kansas basketball, winners of the weekend. The Jayhawks with a very nice win on Saturday afternoon over BYU. 90-82 was the final score. And I did not know this until, of course, during the broadcast, but it was the 1,000th game played at Fog Allen Fieldhouse.
Ooh.
1,000th game. And should have known, if I would have known that, which I already did pick KU in our picks. I mean, I would have been like, yeah, well, they're not going to lose the 1,000th game. That ain't going to happen, no matter what they do.
I should have taken that into account.
Kansas just looked about as good as they had all season, particularly in the first half. They looked awesome. They came out and they just, as you watch the highlights on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC division, they were doing everything right. Steals, shooting, half-court offense, full court. It was impressive. They were really good. And Darren Peterson, of course, was special doing what he does. But, man, it was really, really great. But then came the second half, and guess what? Darren Peterson didn't really play in the second half. Luckily, Bryson Tiller went out there, had a career high 21 points, and Kansas, who had at one point in time, I think, a 21-point lead, and it got down to like 6 because BYU came storming back in the second half, as they've proven to do against really good teams like Arizona here early in the week. But yeah, I was impressed by Kansas. I thought they played their best basketball of the season in that win. They didn't need the magic of the fog in order to get it done. I think they won that game. They played really good. And when they're at full strength, they're a really good basketball team.
Almost unstoppable.
They might be a Final Four team. And I can't believe I'm saying that after watching them, earlier this year struggle through the first 3 games of the Big 12 slate. But now I get the feeling like they could be a Final Four caliber type team, can Kansas. The problem is can Darren that team only exists if Darren Peterson stays on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we're going to see Darren Peterson play an entire game the rest of his Kansas career. I just don't know if we're going to see it. And it really does. It really makes me, I almost kind of get this ick. Like, I get this ick, Connor. I'm just like, why is he not playing more? Is he really, like, why is he having these constant issues with his legs? Did he have these issues before he got to Kansas? Is it just happening now? I have lots of questions that I would love to have answers to.
I got to say,
is this just him when it comes to, let me finish this point. Or is it just him and his NBA draft stock that he's worried about and he's trying to keep load off his legs?
I think on one hand, it's a little bit of a family thing. And 2, I don't know how his legs are not there when, if you're watching the video stream just a couple of clips ago, we got highlights from the game up. And I'm sure people saw that poster dunk he had, which was insane. I mean, went right over 2 guys and it just looked like Superman. I mean, and he scored 20 points in 20 minutes again. Kansas, that was also a winner for me. I mean, how could they not be? They did kind of collapse in the second half, but you got to give respect to how they play with DP, and they are really one of the best teams in the nation with him on the court. I think he has to play more once March Madness hits, though. I'll tell you that much.
But I just don't get it. Why can't he play now? Why can't he play now? And boy, if you're Bill Self and you're getting told by the family that, hey, you need to limit his minutes, I mean, that is ridiculous. How
it's
dumb
weird
is that? You're paying this guy to come play ball for you.
Well, there's load management in the NBA, Ross. So
I get it, but shoot, man, this is college. Gosh. I can understand load management in the NBA because guys are a little bit older. I mean, if Kevin Love needs load management, then give Kevin Love load management,
He's getting a lot of that now.
That's my point. So, but you're college, you're young, what is he, 19? Darren Peterson? I mean, come on. He's a
young freshman.
Why in the world is he not playing? Why is he not playing more? It would drive me nuts. Michael says on our FB Bank text line, he said it would have been a blowout without DP if Saunders from BYU didn't light it from behind there. Well, that's what he does.
Saunders was great.
That's what he does, Michael. Watch Richie Saunders. That's all he does. He lights people up from the outside. He's the biggest reason why he's probably, I think Richie Saunders is probably the biggest reason why BYU is having as much success. Even though you want to give it to Batanza. I get it. You want to give it to AJ Batanza. That's fine. He's good. I don't know. I think without Richie Saunders, I don't think BYU is even close to being as good a team.
I mean, they wouldn't be as good without Richie, but AJ Batanza is, I mean, he's kind of their engine. He's their best player as a freshman, and it's one part of the whole. It's one part of that big 3 they have, those 2 and Rob Wright. If they were missing one of any of those 3, they would be worse for sure. But
kind of like Kansas without Darren Peterson. When he's on the floor, they're not as good.
But Kansas doesn't have as much of a defined big 3 is what I'm saying. I think BYU has those 3 at the top and then the supporting cast behind them, and they just wouldn't go like they would if they were missing any of those guys.
Well, anyway, Kansas basketball winners the weekend, but my question is, will they ever get Darren Peterson for a full game? That's what I want to know. By the way, KU plays in action again tonight, 8 Central, 7 Mountain Time, big Monday game against Texas Tech. That is what is coming up on the docket. Weekend winners and losers. What else you got for winners of the weekend?
I got Florida basketball. Florida was, I remember very early in the non-conference slate during all the tournament time, like the early season tournaments, everyone was a little bit worried, like, oh my God, does Florida are they awful? without Walter Clayton, without Will Richard, all those guys they had last year. And everyone was worried, and I think they were unranked at one point, but not anymore. They have been incredible lately, including a 100-77 win at home versus number 23 Alabama. Definitely a solid team. Bama might also not be as good as they were last year, but to beat a team like Alabama by 23, even at home, that's really impressive. And all of a sudden, the Gators are 16-6, 7-2 in the SEC. They're definitely going to jump the AP poll because they were sitting at 19 this previous week. But I mean, they got contributions from everywhere. They still got a couple of guys from that championship winning team last year. Thomas Houck, Ruben Shinyelu, and Alex Condon, 3 of their starters. They're both incredible. And all of them chipped in double-digit points, a couple of them 20+. And then Boogie Flan and Xavier Lee, their 2 transfer guards, have been much better lately. And even Lee had an off game. He only had 6 points, and they still won by 23. I mean, the sky's the limit for Florida right now, and it really feels like they're actually coming around. And now it's like, okay, they might be able to defend their title with this team they have. That certainly wasn't a thought earlier in the season, but I like their chances a lot more now.
Don't forget about Oliver Rue, the tallest player in basketball at 7'9".
Yeah, he popped up at the end of the game, and I stopped watching by that point because the game was over, but I saw a clip of him miss a hook shot, and he just puts his hands up and just plucks it right off the basket and puts it back in. Looks like he's playing on a mini hoop.
Well, Florida, I think, I'm trying to think who else is up there. Florida might be the best team in the SEC. Might be.
Yeah, the SEC's having a down year.
It's a very much a down year. The SEC was the creme of the crop last year. They were no doubt the best conference probably in totality last year. And I think they got, 10 teams into the tournament, maybe 11?
They did. Some undeserved.
So, yeah, that's what they got. And this year, I think it's going to be different. They're not going to have as many teams because I
definitely
just think that league as a whole is as tough as it is, which is why I don't think Florida's probably going to win back-to-back national championships. I don't think they've been seasoned enough to their conference play, to be my opinion. One team I think that has a great chance of winning a national championship, at least if they were to play it now, if March Madness started today, would be Illinois basketball, my other winner of the weekend. Look, I predicted on Friday, I said, I think Nebraska's going to win this game. Once again, me picking my Huskers proves me to be bad again or wrong again. Illinois gets the win over Nebraska there in Lincoln by a final score of 78-69. Nebraska led by 6 at half, but Illinois came out and made adjustments second half. Look, Illinois to me is such a complete basketball team. They've got size, they have shooters at all 5 spots, they have depth, and they have a dude. They have a lot of things going for them. That dude, of course, is Keaton Wagler, who we've talked about before in this program. He continues to just light it up here in late January, early February. I thought just personally going into that arena for Illinois was going to be a bear because I figured it was just going to be a hornet's nest. Fans were going to be rowdy, and it was, and the crowd was electric. But Illinois went in there and won that game fair and square, and it was an impressive showing from the Illini.
It was.
I was very impressed with their play. They were really, really good. Like I said, it's like watching the 1980 Olympics hockey game with U.S. versus Russia. You know, you got a lot of those Eastern European names out there, but those guys can play ball. They're really, really talented, especially the Avicevic brothers. They're very, very good. And so I was very impressed with Illinois on Sunday afternoon. Very impressive. They're passing, they're scoring, they're shooting. It was great. If they started the NCAA tournament today, they probably would be one of my teams to make the Final Four. They're really
got to give a quick shout out and say no Kylan Boswell in that win either for Illinois.
I don't know if he's going to be back this year. I think he's out for the year with a wrist injury.
Yeah, but he's their best defender, so it might get a little scary for them down the stretch. We'll see though.
Well, they might be the third best team in the nation behind Arizona, Michigan, those teams possibly. They're really, really good. I was totally impressed with them. So, and my other winner of the week in Illinois basketball. Any other winners for you?
I'll give a quick shout out to Jarrett Allen of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Career high 40 piece last night against the Trailblazers. He's a guy who has not been very aggressive over the past couple of years, and he has gotten a lot of hate for it. So it was cool to go out there and see him just dominate a team because that's not really what he does. But a 40 ball with no Evan Mobley, no Darius Garland, 2 of the best scorers for the Cleveland Cavaliers, not named Donovan Mitchell. So big ups to Jarrett Allen. I was definitely a hater of his, not on this program, but behind the scenes. So, yeah,
You say Jared Allen, I think of the pass rusher for the Vikings.
I should. That's true. I should specify it's Jarrett
Allen. Okay.
It's just you kind of flub it a little bit in the words, but shout out to Jared Allen, great pass rusher.
Also, I think getting into curling now. I think Jared Allen is into like Olympic curling. I think he's getting into that.
Really?
Yeah, I think there was an article on it recently. I think at the Athletic talking about how him is kind of in his own little league of curling up there.
That's cool.
So pretty neat to see. Quick winner for me, local front. Shout out to all the league champions that were crowned this past weekend. First in wrestling, Hoxie boys and Oakley girls winning Mid-Continent League tournament championships on the mat. Hoxie girls getting to 15-1 and capturing the Mid-Continent League title with the win over Oakley on Saturday. And then Quinter boys and Dighton girls winning Northwest Kansas League championships this past week. And congratulations to those teams on winning league titles here this past Saturday. And also two more quick winners on sports we don't talk about a lot, at least not right now. Shout out to Carlos Alcaraz and Justin Rose. Carlos Alcaraz becomes becomes the youngest player ever to win a career Grand Slam of 22 years old. What were you doing at 22? I wasn't. You're at 22 right now.
I'm sitting right here. That's what I'm doing at 22.
What was I doing at 22? Nothing what Carlos Alcaraz was doing, winning a Grand Slam in tennis. He's been amazing there. And Justin Rose, absolutely domination at Torrey Pines this past weekend at the 2026 Farmers Insurance Open. The 45-year-old Englishman went a scoring record, tournament record, 23 under par. He won by 7 strokes, wire to wire. And he surpassed George Burns and Tiger Woods, who previously held the tournament scoring record at 22 under. But yeah, oldest golfer to win at Torrey Pines too, by the way, at 45 years old. So 23 under at Torrey Pines for Justin Rose, who won the Farmers Insurance Open. So a couple other quick winners there.
He's not too bad.
Not too bad. All right, losers quickly here on the Morning Blitz.
Yeah, I think we both have the first one here. I'm sure.
There we go. Sorry, my bad.
Hold on. But you can tell it's Kansas State basketball. I think they've been a loser of the week for the past, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks at this point, and it's deserved almost every single time. They lost by 30 to Iowa State, and I think that was closer than the game actually was, because at one point they were down 44 to 15 in the first half. And I think those jerseys were bad luck. I don't know what it is, but Iowa State's a great team, but Kansas State, I can't find any creative new way to say it, but they're horrible, and they're probably one of the bottom 5 power conference teams, if not maybe the worst. I don't know. They're down there.
Yeah, I can't say basketball is my biggest loser of the weekend. You know, it's one thing to get blown out by Iowa State, who is a top 10 team, no doubt about it. In Bramlage too, by the way. It's one thing to get blown out at home by Iowa State. Okay, so you get blown out. You know, if you're Kansas State, you're not playing with the full deck because you've got a couple of your key players on the bench with injuries. Totally get it. It's one thing to get blown out. But the biggest reason why I think this is the biggest loser of the weekend for Kansas State in our previous discussions of losers of the weekend is because of what I saw when the score got to be what it was. Not caring anymore is the biggest reason why K-State basketball is lose the weekend. If you watch that game on Sunday morning, those guys were not moving, standing around, just whatever, so on and so forth. They had no effort, no care, and that is a very, very bad look. If you're not going to go out there and compete at a high level, it's not, what are we doing? Why? And then if you're a K-State fan and especially if you're a booster, why are we paying these guys to just stand around and do nothing?
Yeah.
Because that's what it looked like, particularly in the first half. Now, Jerome Tang then in the second half said he was proud of their effort. Now, I don't know what he was watching. That was not what I was seeing. K-State is a poor, and I do mean very poor, defensive team, which means they are more focused on the offense, and offensively, they just do a lot of standing around and hope PJ Haggerty puts up a shot and gets it to go in. That's the way this has looked here as of late. And I understand part of it is the fact they're missing key pieces due to injury, including Abdi Bashir. But Jerome Tang's roster assembly skills, he just struck absolute gold in his first year. He was able to go get 2 or 3 superstar players that came and wanted to play together as one. He has continued to do that formula here over the last couple of years, and it has not worked. And we're
Yeah.
seeing it again. And
Bad.
now guys just don't care because, oh, shoot, we're down by 20. We're down by 30. This game's over. I'm just going to collect my paycheck and go to the next school next year or whatever it may be. Because that's
Or
going to
go
happen.
play overseas and get a bag again.
Yeah, K-State's going to have a whole new roster again next year, and I just don't know how you go about doing it. So to me, they're no doubt of big losers of the weekend. Humongous losers of the weekend. Any other quick losers?
Unfortunately, I was going to throw in Colby Community College men's basketball. It's another loss. They are 5-17 after losing by 17 to Cowley on the road. It's just hasn't been the greatest season for them. I don't want to rub salt in the wound too much, but they're last in Jayhawk Conference, and yeah, it just has not been looking too good for the Trojans.
Yeah, we've had a discussion on this, I think, last week about some thoughts on that. What might be going on there for Colby Community College? We'll see. It's definitely been a tough year.
Real quick, they shot 50% from three and lost by 17.
I
don't know how that
happened.
happened.
They shot it really good. They
Yeah.
shot it really good, but I think they were but they took like 20 less shots.
They did. They struggle on defense. They allowed 55% shooting from the floor, 52% from three, and 100% shooting from the line to Cowley. So there you go.
It was overall, it was a tough weekend for JUCO hoops. I think only Colby women got the win, which, by the way, had a great fourth quarter. Came from behind to win in the fourth quarter. The Colby women to win at Cowley, which is a tough place to win at. Other than that, though, Fort Hays Tech Northwest women and men both lost to Butler on Saturday. So overall, a tough weekend there. I have another loser, but I think I might just save it for Nick Athens since he's waiting patiently. It has to do with the NFL. So we'll get to that coming up here in just a little bit. We'll take our first break, come back. Nick Athens joins us next, our good friend from Cheese Blitz. We'll talk Super Bowl 60. We'll talk a little bit about my one other loser of the weekend, and we'll get to all that coming up next. You're listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Monday.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
We've been serving ag families for generations because we believe farming isn't just a job, it's a legacy. Whether you're just starting out or expanding your operation, F&B Bank has flexible lending solutions designed for you. This is Loan Officer Kennedy Frank at F&B Bank. We're proud to be your hometown ag lender, member FDIC.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Tom Saludo with the Anderson Trade Group with your overnight market report on February 2nd. In the overnight session, March corn was down 1 at 426.5. May corn's down 1 at 434. In July corn is down 1 at 440.5. March soybeans down 5.5 at 1058. May soybeans down 5.5 at 1071. In July down 6 at 1084. March Kansas City hard red winter wheat was down 5 at 539. May KC wheat down 5 at 549. In July down 5 at 562. The Dow Jones is currently up 14 points at 49,022. The S&P is down 22 points at 6,943. NASDAQ is down 133 points at 25,536. Gold is slightly down 14 points at 4,731. Silver is up 3 points at 81.50 an ounce. And crude oil is down 4.5% at 62 a barrel. If you're in the Colorado area and have any grain to market or risk management questions, please call John Hanke or John Stiles at 970-744-4484. Or you can call the Overland Park office, myself, Tom Saludo, Jared Law, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000. Thank you.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
If you're buying or selling cattle, make your first stop livestockmarket.com. Bred cows, heifers, pairs, bulls, and frozen genetics, even feeder calves. You'll find them all at livestockmarket.com. Livestock Market features private treaty sales, online auctions, and live production sale bidding. You'll also find horses, sheep, goats, and hay. Check out the free Livestock Market magazine wherever you pick up Tractor House and download the Livestock Market mobile app today.
When it comes to cattle performance this winter, protein isn't optional. It's essential. The right protein helps cattle pull more energy from every bite of feed and keeps rumen microbes doing their job. Want better fiber digestion and feed efficiency? Feed Smart Lick protein tubs. After all, performance starts with protein. It's not about working harder, it's about feeding smarter. Go to smartlick.com. That's smartlic.com to find your dealer.
Miss the weekend action?
Yes, you caught me.
No worries. We've got all the highlights and lowlights covered.
Hey, okay, well, catch me up.
This is the Morning Blitz with Russ Volkmer.
All right, we're back here on a Monday, February the 2nd. That's right. Not going to feel like February outside. Temperature's supposed to be in the upper 50s, although a wind out of the north here might cause it to feel a little bit cooler. It's that wind that cuts right through you and gets you, especially out here where there's no trees to stop it. Our good friend Nick Athen joins us from ChiefsBlitz.com. He hops on the program now. Good morning, sir. How are we feeling today?
I feel pretty good. How about you guys?
Feeling fine. Feeling
wonderful.
Fine. You've had a week to kind of digest what we saw in the AFC and NFC championship games. How are we feeling going into this week of Super Bowl 60?
I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's a good matchup. I think you got a tremendous amount of storylines, and it's just an off year for the Chiefs. They'll be back next year, and but I think I told you guys before. I've enjoyed this offseason. I've enjoyed the playoffs. I thought they were terrific games for the most part. I think the two best teams are in the Super Bowl, considering if you look at where they were week 1 versus week 17, 18, 19, 20, whatever it is. They were the most consistent teams from start to finish. So I think the NFL got rewarded with what I think is going to be an entertaining Super Bowl. I think both teams are well coached. I think they've got great storylines for the quarterbacks. They both have good defenses. So maybe this will be a 9-6 game. Who knows?
Really? You hit the under is what you're saying? You hit the under on that?
I would definitely take the under.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think the Patriots are maybe a year early here? Because I certainly didn't expect this.
Well, listen, they've taken advantage of a pretty crappy schedule. However, I think they were undefeated on the road this year, which is pretty impressive in itself. So it doesn't matter. They beat the bad teams by a lot of points, and that's the sign of, I think, a really good team. So, yeah, they probably are a year, maybe 2 years early, but you got to look at the division. Dolphins were down, the Jets were down, and the Bills are cooked. So this is the Patriots division for the next decade if they want it.
Fair enough.
Nick Athen, our guest here from ChiefsBlitz.com. I was going to ask, this is Super Bowl 60. What's the first Super Bowl you remember watching as a kid?
I remember watching Super Bowl 3 with Joe Namath, and I'm that old. I remember watching bits and pieces of that game, but obviously a year later, my parents went to the Super Bowl in New Orleans, and I begged them to take me. And I got a consolation prize, a Super Bowl 4 pennant that's hanging up in my office here somewhere. But I remember that game obviously very, very well. And Super Bowl 4, I mean, it was a monumental moment. I remember watching the game, and my parents came home early, and they took me down to Municipal Airport in Kansas City when the team arrived. My dad put me on his shoulders, and I got a high five from Lamar Hunt. I mean, I remember all this stuff. It was a great time. But yeah, Super Bowl 3, Joe Namath he was a phenomenal football player, and I enjoyed that Super Bowl immensely because I was an AFC guy or AFL guy all the way through to my bones.
Yeah, very, very cool. I wanted to get into a thought. We'll get to the Chiefs and Eric Bieniemy, but I have another question about the Broncos, who come up short of the Super Bowl. And there's been some rumors swirling around, that the offensive staff is not exactly on the same page. Joe Lombardi gets let go, even though it's Sean Payton who calls the plays. And there's rumors that Bo Nix isn't getting along great with Sean Payton. I mean, when you hear all this stuff and read all of this stuff and you see what happens with the removal of Joe Lombardi, what are you thinking about from the Denver perspective?
I warned the Broncos fans a long time ago when they hired this guy. Listen, I give the guy props for what he did this season with Bo Nix, but this is the same crap he pulled in New Orleans. He would fire coaches. He had Drew Brees, which was a great situation for him. I've heard the same thing. I mean, to make Lombardi the scapegoat when your backup quarterbacks in the title game, it just doesn't make any sense. The Bo Nix situation, I thought this was going to be a good marriage. I'm not sure it's going to be a good marriage going forward. This is what Sean does, and I think Lombardi said it too. Well, he just threw a temper tantrum, so he's doing his thing. Broncos fans have to be really careful because this is the trap that you get into when you hire a guy like Sean Payton. Great offensive mind. Again, coach of the year potential here for what he did in Denver. Great defense that kind of sagged off a little bit toward the last 4 weeks of the season in the playoffs. And then Bo Nix, made some really great plays and made a lot of strides. But if Bo Nix is going to get to that next level, he and Sean have to get on the same page. And Sean's got to quit blaming his offensive staff when it's him who made a blunder play, when he could have kicked a field goal, and ultimately that, I think, lost him the chance to be in the Super Bowl.
We're talking NFL with Nick Athen, ChiefsBlitz.com. Eric Bieniemy is coming back to Kansas City to be the OC. Your thoughts on this hire and what it means for the Chiefs? Is this all part of your evil plan?
This is not my evil plan. Cliff Kingsbury would have been the offensive coordinator, and Andy Reid would have taken a step back from the offense, would have been my plan. However, familiar doors. I mean, this is just there were other candidates who were interested in Kansas City, but Andy's just not willing to give up the reins yet, guys. And that's the thing. I mean, I love Eric Bieniemy as a personality. I think he's the best running backs coach I've ever seen in the National Football League. Now he's going to be the offensive coordinator again when he really wasn't the offensive coordinator before. But I'm hoping that this time around, more of his personality comes out. I think he learned a lot from Ben Johnson. I think that education alone should help the Chiefs run the ball better, be more accountable on the offense, help Patrick Mahomes, more. They still need to bring someone in to help Patrick Mahomes with his footwork. It's gone kind of sideways here in the last couple of years. But to me, this is a safe hire. It's only a 2-year deal. So I think the Chiefs are going all in for one more year with this group and a part of this group. I think they're going to be aggressive in free agency. They're going to have a top 10 pick. They'll probably have 2 picks in the first round when it's all said and done. But for me with EB, I want to be positive, guys. I really do. I've really enjoyed my offseason. I didn't want anything to throw it off track. But I'm a little skeptical that this is going to have much of an impact.
Do you think him being around, though, might help a guy like Brashard Smith?
Oh, yeah, there's no question. And especially if they get Jeremiah Love, which is the hot rumor right now. If he gets past the Saints at 8, he's going to be there. And so is Bailey, the edge rusher from Texas Tech. So they're going to have a decision to make, I think. But, I think for Brashard Smith, it's a golden opportunity. He's the only running back who's going to be under contract to start the season. Now, I do think Kareem Hunt will come back to play with EB one more year and be that 3rd down, 4th down back. But, the running game should improve vastly. And if they put Patrick Mahomes under center more, which I think they will, because especially coming off the injury, and they can run the ball to 125, 150 yards a game, I think the offense is going to be just fine, regardless if they fix the wide receiver position, which they did by hiring Chad O'Shea, one of the best wide receiver coaches in the NFL. I'm more excited about Chad O'Shea than I am about Eric Bieniemy.
Really?
Oh God, he is the best. He's worked with some of the best wide receivers in NFL history, Pro Bowlers, Hall of Famers. What he'll do for Xavier Worthy, Jalen Royals, he'll be able to develop him. We don't know what Rashee Rice is going to do. We don't know if he's going to be in the NFL. He's going to be in jail. He's going to be on the roster. We have no idea he's going to be traded. All these things are possible. But I think the wide receiver group is going to be really good. And if they bring Tyquan Thornton back, that'll give them a pretty good core. And then you just sort out the Rashee Rice and pick another wide receiver in the draft.
Nick Anthony can be our guest here on the Morning Blitz. My last one for you is part of my losers of the weekend. The Rooney Rule. All 10 coaching spots have been filled. Once again, all 10 are held by Caucasian men. The Rooney Rule is put in place to try and, cultivate more minority coaches into the NFL. It obviously is not working. I mean, and once again, this is not to sound bad or anything. It's not that I'm offended by it because, once again, if you're the most qualified person for the job, most qualified person for the job, I don't care what you look like or anything. But at the same time, this rule is not working. And is it even worth even having it anymore?
Well, I mean, they have to have it because that's just the way the NFL operates. But listen, I've been around a long time, as I said earlier on the show.
Since Super Bowl III.
Super Bowl III. This is the good old boy network, and it's never going to change. You look at some of the hires, up and coming coordinators. I think we are doing a shift toward younger coaches now. You're getting some guys who have been head coaches before; they're getting another chance. And then you got a guy like Matt Nagy, who's probably not going to get anything this offseason, which is really sad. But I think the problem with the Rooney Rule is it was forced on the NFL. I think they just do it. The problem to me, the only way to correct it is for some of these coaches just not to be part of that process and just say, nope, I'm not going to be the guy that, checks off one of the boxes so you can hire, somebody else. I want to be considered as, potentially a premier head coach, one of the guys that can be one of the 32. And I think that's the problem. And some coaches have done that. But, the NFL's got three big issues. This is one of them. The referees and the umpiring and the officiating has gone sideways. And then it's going to be the 18-game schedule coming up. And I think when you look at all these things, to me, in the importance factor, this is probably the least important thing that they'll deal with in the offseason. I agree with you, Ross. It needs to be changed. It needs to be adjusted. I mean, they've added draft pick compensation, so there's definitely incentive by the teams to lose a minority candidate to get an extra third or fourth round pick, which is great to have, and it's a good process. But the problem is there's just not the NFL is going to run its own path regardless of anything outside. I mean, look at the halftime person for the Super Bowl. I mean, come on. So they go. The NFL is unkillable. They could do 100 bad things, and it still wouldn't affect the bottom line or the value of the franchises, or the money that these guys make. I mean, the salary cap, we're looking at $303 to $307 million. $303 million. So for the Chiefs, who were $79 million over the cap, they're now 50 or 55. So it's funny money. And the owners, the 32 owners in the NFL, they don't care. They just want more primetime games. They want money. They're pretending that this is a big deal. They say it's working. But if it doesn't work, no one's going to hold them accountable. And I don't think as many people care about it, unfortunately, as they should. But part of the blame also goes in the fact, Ross and Connor, that the way they do these interviews, you got teams in the playoffs, which puts a damper on it. I don't know how to fix that because these coaches have to get ready for the games, but there needs to be more coordination with the NFL and say, okay, after Saturday's game in the playoffs, then you can interview candidates on Sunday. After the Sunday games, you can interview them on Monday, and that's it. Just a whole list. Let them go through the gamut, do their voice, do their Skypes or whatever they do these days, and have the conversations with them. And you spread it out, and it's this day and that day. it's unfair to the guys who are coaching in the playoffs to get a premier job unless there's a couple of teams that say, well, listen, we're going to wait for this guy. So it's a messy situation, but again, it's just not a high priority for the NFL.
Okay, my final question. It's a two-parter.
All right.
Who are you picking on Sunday? Right now, Seahawks favored by 4.5. I know you take the under. You said that, but if you had to just pick a winner, and if it is Seattle, is it one of the great stories that Sam Darnold goes from backup to Super Bowl champion?
Yeah, my sister lives in Seattle, and one of my best friends is Seattle, so I'm going there. So I'm picking the Seahawks to win. I think the Darnold story is incredible. I mean, if you remember a couple years ago, he came in and week 4 and played the Chiefs. Chiefs come out to a 16-0 lead, and he came back in the game, and I thought he played pretty well up until the fourth quarter. And you could see a little spark in him. But I think this rags to riches story is what makes the NFL so great. In a down year, when the best of the best quarterbacks are not in the Super Bowl, some of them weren't in the postseason, for this kid to come out and to dispense all that noise and all the people who said he wasn't going to be any good, he goes to arguably the worst franchise in the NFL at the moment, one of the worst, and he goes to Seattle, and he's a star. He had a bad wing for the last 2 weeks of the postseason, and it didn't matter. He made some plays and made some throws that I didn't think he could make, but I think that would be one of the greatest. I would equate it to the Doug Williams winning in Washington, winning his Super Bowl.
No,
I think you're looking at a very similar path, and one that nobody predicted. I mean, none of us are sitting here going, well, Sam Darnold's going to the Super Bowl.
Just remember, it was just what did I say, Connor? It was 3 years ago, 4 years ago. He was backing up Baker Mayfield at the Carolina Panthers.
That was 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
I mean, it's just crazy. And this is why we love the NFL. It will be the story of the week, more so than Drake May. It's gonna be the number one story all week, I think.
Nick Athen, ChiefsBlitz.com. Nick, thank you so much, my friend, for the conversation. We'll do it again soon.
All right, guys. Talk to you next week.
Once again, that's Nick Athen, there from Chiefs Blitz. We'll take our final break, come back, and wrap up the show next. This is The Blitz.
Rips worn out, and it needs replaced. Who you gonna call?
Roof Masters!
Roof Masters Roofing at Colby has been your premier roofing contractor for over 40 years, offering free estimates on all types of roofs, as well as seamless rain gutters and vinyl siding. So give us a call today. What's that number, Jake?
462-6642. I think you better call
Roof Masters!
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pestaway in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pestaway today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
Start the new year in a new Chevrolet from Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, where the deals are ready to roll. Right now, get behind the wheel of a Chevy Trailblazer with 3.9% APR for well-qualified buyers, or step up to a Chevy Silverado 1500 and score up to $6,250 in rebates with an eligible trade-in. It's the perfect time to upgrade your drive and start the year strong with the power and reliability of Chevy. Make your New Year's move today at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Shop online anytime at hurlchev.com.
Kick off 2026 ready for whatever winter brings. At Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby, they've got the gear to start the new year strong. Get organized with rugged storage totes. And when the snow starts falling, if it does, power through it with Ego and Craftsman snow blowers. Or if it's just the light stuff, blow it away with Ego leaf blowers. And don't forget ice melt to keep your sidewalk safe all season long. New year, winter ready. Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby. Helpful folks, trusted brands, and everything you need to get it done.
Need a porta potty or septic pumping in Northwest Kansas? Call Topside Portables and Pumping, your local family-owned crew. They've got clean, reliable toilets for weddings, farms, and job sites. plus full septic services, RV waste, fertilizer tanks, and more. Available 24/7, because when nature calls, they answer. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. Reliable, local, clean.
Miss the weekend action?
Yes, you caught me.
No worries. We've got all the highlights and lowlights covered.
Hey, okay, well, catch me up.
This is the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
All right, just a couple more seconds here on the program. Tomorrow, we're going to have our final day to enter in to win for our dinner and dance, Valentine's Day dinner and dance from Traditions Restaurant, because either Wednesday or Thursday, we are going to spin the wheel of love and get ourselves a winner. So look forward to doing that here on the Morning Blitz. So we've got lots of people entered in, some people multiple times, and that's okay. The more entries, you just get more, your name gets on the wheel more. So that's how it's going to work. Here on the leftovers, let's get to a couple of things. We talked about Kansas, of course, Kansas winning and K-State losing. By the way, Jayhawks play tonight on Big Monday against number 11 Texas Tech on the road there in wonderful Lubbock, as some people like to call it, Lubbock. 8 Central tip time on Flyover Country 97.9. One thing we didn't talk about in college basketball, Colorado Buffs, they end a 6-game skid. They came through for your boy.
I was surprised
when
I saw that score.
Pretty convincing win, too, by the way. 26-point win over TCU on Sunday.
I don't know how.
He doesn't know how it happened. Power prayer. I don't know how it happened either. Also, there's some high school basketball tonight. Oakley hosting Dighton tonight. And then, of course, getting going tomorrow, I believe, is the Western Kansas Liberty League basketball tournament as our final league tournament gets underway. So anything we missed on your side of things with the leftovers today?
I think we touched on everything for the most part.
How about this in baseball news? Vinny Pasquantino has agreed to a 2-year contract with the Royals, keeping him in Kansas City through the 2027 season, pending, of course, a physical. Pasquantino, the Pasquatch, coming off a career year with 32 home runs and 113 RBIs. So they get one of their top run producers back to the Royals, but agreeing to a 2-year contract and avoiding, I think it was arbitration or something along those lines.
I think so. And I do actually have something else on the baseball side of things. Not local, but Eugenio Suarez back with the Reds on a 1-year deal. I was surprised he only got $15 million after hitting well over 40 bombs last year. He hit 49, actually. So that's crazy to me that he's only getting $15 million, but reunited with his old team, so that's cool.
I read that they're going to he's just going to possibly DH is all he's going to do there.
He's getting a little older. Third base isn't as good as it used to be for him.
It's like me, getting a little long in the tooth. I think that's what's happening right there. All right, let's get to the walk-off.
High drive, deep left, grand slam! And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off three? Thomas to the 10. Difference going on in New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes swings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
LeBron James was named as an All-Star reserve, extending the record for most consecutive All-Star games. What were your thoughts when LeBron came back to Cleveland and they had the big tribute video? What were your thoughts on that?
I thought that was cool. I mean, he's probably the biggest sports legend the city has ever had, and he brought the Cavs a title. So love it. I'm there for it.
Yeah. How were you when LeBron decided to leave to go to Miami and then leave a second time after he was there winning a title? Did you take that all okay as a Cleveland fan, or?
When he came back, I was totally there for it. He's like, hey, he made a mistake when he went to Miami. He wanted to come back for some unfinished business, and he took care of said business. So when he went to the Lakers, no bad blood. And granted, in those last couple of years he was with the Cavs, honestly, in both tenures, he had really just nothing around him. So I don't blame him at all.
Yeah. So there you go. That'll do it for our program today. Thank you to Nick Athen of ChiefsBlitz.com. If missing the show, go back and listen to the podcast anywhere you get your podcast page. And thank you to all the podcast listeners as well. For Connor Schuh, I'm Ross Volkmer. We'll see you back here again in 23 hours. It's been the Morning Blitz. Have a good one.